The moment you react emotionally, control leaves your hands. Others see it instantly. They exploit it silently. Authority belongs to the one who remains unmoved. Chapter 1. Reaction is the first admission of weakness. Authority does not collapse through open challenge. It collapses the moment you react. Reaction is an admission, an unconscious confession that something external has the power to move you. The Machiavellian understands this instinctively. Control begins with emotional restraint, not moral superiority or physical dominance. Most people believe reacting proves strength. They think assertiveness, confrontation, or emotional expression establishes boundaries. In reality, it exposes dependency. When someone provokes you and you respond impulsively, they learn two things immediately: what you care about and how to manipulate you. Both are liabilities. Reactions are predictable. Predictability invites control. If anger can be triggered, anger will be used. If guilt can be invoked, guilt becomes leverage. If pride is fragile, it will be attacked. Every unregulated response maps your vulnerabilities for others to exploit. The loss of authority rarely feels dramatic. It happens quietly, in moments people dismiss as normal: a raised voice, a defensive explanation, a rushed reply. Each reaction lowers your perceived rank. Observers may not articulate it, but they sense the shift. You are no longer centered, you are responding. True authority is inert. It absorbs pressure without displacement. This does not mean passivity, it means internal regulation. The Machiavellian does not suppress emotion blindly. They control expression. Emotion exists internally but never dictates action externally. There's a reason calm individuals dominate tense environments. They control tempo. Others escalate, and escalation creates mistakes. Mistakes reveal position. Calmness starves provocation of oxygen. Without reaction, the aggressor loses momentum. Momentum is everything in power dynamics. Reaction also locks you into frames set by others. When you respond emotionally, you accept their premise. You fight on their ground. Silence or delayed response allows reframing. It returns initiative to you. Initiative is the core of authority. Most people surrender authority because they confuse self-expression with self-respect. They believe reacting defends dignity. In truth, dignity is preserved by restraint. Restraint signals that you do not need to prove anything. That assumption is powerful. The Machiavellian principle here is brutal but effective. Whoever controls your reactions controls you. If others can predict your emotional triggers, they can guide your behavior without force. Emotional autonomy is therefore not optional, it is foundational. This chapter establishes the core law. Before strategy, before influence, before dominance, there must be control of reaction. Without it, all power is temporary. With it, authority stabilizes and grows. Chapter 2. Emotional exposure transfers power instantly. Power rarely changes hands through force. It transfers through exposure. The moment your emotions become visible, control shifts away from you. This transfer is subtle, almost invisible, yet absolute. The Machiavellian understands that emotional exposure is not honesty. It is surrender. When emotions surface publicly, they create leverage for observers. Anger invites escalation. Defensiveness invites pressure. Excitement invites manipulation. Even positive emotion can be exploited if it reveals desire or dependence. Once exposed, emotions no longer belong solely to you. They become tools for others. This is why experienced manipulators provoke rather than confront. They do not need to defeat you intellectually. They only need to trigger reaction. Once triggered, you reveal priorities, insecurities, and limits. With this information, control becomes effortless. Emotional exposure also disrupts hierarchy. High-ranking individuals are expected to remain composed. When they react emotionally, it creates confusion and loss of confidence among observers. Authority depends on perceived stability. Emotional leakage signals instability. Many people mistake emotional transparency for authenticity. In power dynamics, authenticity without restraint is vulnerability. The Machiavellian does not deny emotion, they compartmentalize it. They decide when, where, and how emotion is expressed. This selectivity preserves leverage. Another consequence of emotional exposure is loss of narrative control. When emotions take over, language becomes reactive. You explain too much, justify unnecessarily, or overcommit verbally. Each word spoken under emotional influence narrows options and creates openings for opposition. Control requires delayed response. Delay disrupts emotional momentum. It forces the other party to wait, recalibrate, and sometimes retreat. Silence during emotional provocation is not weakness. It is resistance. It denies the emotional transaction the provocateur seeks. There is also a social contagion effect. Emotions spread. When one person reacts emotionally, others mirror it. This escalates chaos. The composed individual stands apart, gaining contrast-based authority. Calm becomes a signal of leadership in turbulent environments. The Machiavellian principle is simple. Emotion should inform strategy, not dictate behavior. Feel everything internally, reveal nothing externally unless it serves purpose. This separation is difficult but decisive. Those who master emotional containment become unpredictable. Unpredictability disrupts manipulation. When others cannot anticipate your reactions, they hesitate. Hesitation weakens initiative. Initiative lost is power lost. This chapter clarifies why emotional discipline is not suppression, it is dominance. Authority is not loud, it is regulated. Emotional exposure hands power away instantly. Emotional control reclaims it. Chapter 3. The calm individual dictates the frame. In any interaction, there is an invisible frame that defines what is acceptable, what is negotiable, and who holds authority. Most people do not set this frame, they step into one created by others. The calm individual does not enter frames, they dictate them. Calmness is not a personality trait, it is a strategic position. When tension rises and one person remains composed, the hierarchy becomes visible. Others adjust their behavior unconsciously. Voices lower, movements slow, attention shifts. The calm individual becomes the reference point. This happens because calmness signals control over self. Control over self implies control over environment. Humans instinctively defer to those who appear internally regulated during uncertainty. Emotional volatility repels trust. Emotional steadiness attracts it. Frames are reinforced through reaction. If someone insults you and you respond emotionally, you accept their frame that conflict exists and must be addressed on their terms. If you remain calm, the frame collapses. The provocation loses meaning. The aggressor becomes the unstable party. Calmness also interrupts manipulation cycles. Manipulators rely on emotional hooks. They escalate until they get a reaction. When calm persists, escalation backfires. The manipulator either withdraws or overplays. Both outcomes reveal intent and weaken position. The calm individual also controls pacing. Pacing determines pressure. Fast pace favors the reactive. Slow pace favors the deliberate. Calmness slows interactions naturally. Silence stretches time. Others feel compelled to fill gaps or push forward. Each attempt exposes urgency or insecurity. In group dynamics, calm individuals become anchors. When conflict arises, others look to them for cues. Even without speaking, their demeanor influences collective behavior. This is soft authority power without declaration. Machiavellian strategy values frame control above persuasion. Persuasion requires effort and resistance. Frame control makes persuasion unnecessary. When the frame is yours, others operate within it unconsciously. Calmness is also a shield. It absorbs attacks without damage. Attacks require emotional engagement to be effective. Without engagement, they dissipate. This frustrates opponents and discourages future challenges. Importantly, calmness must be genuine. Forced calm is fragile. It breaks under sustained pressure. Genuine calm comes from internal clarity, knowing your position, options, and limits. This internal certainty projects outward naturally. The calm individual does not rush to defend reputation. They understand reputation is built through consistency, not reaction. Each calm response reinforces authority. Each emotional reaction erodes it. This chapter establishes a critical shift. Authority does not come from asserting dominance. It comes from refusing to be moved. The calm individual dictates the frame because they are the only one not trapped by it. Chapter 4. Delay is a form of domination. Most people rush to respond because silence feels dangerous. They fear losing ground, appearing weak, or missing opportunity. In reality, haste is the true weakness. Delay, when controlled, is domination. It forces others to wait, and waiting shifts power. When you delay response, you break emotional momentum. Provocation loses heat. Pressure dissipates. The other party is left suspended, uncertain whether their move succeeded. This uncertainty destabilizes them. Humans crave resolution. Delay denies it. Delay also reverses initiative. The person who acts first often exposes position. The person who waits observes reaction. Observation provides information. Information creates leverage. The Machiavellian prefers to act last because the last move is informed by all others. In communication, delay signals independence. Immediate replies imply availability and eagerness. Delayed replies imply priority and selectivity. Others adjust expectations accordingly. Over time, they learn that access to you is not automatic. This elevates status. Delay also protects you from emotional entrapment. Immediate responses are often emotional. Delayed responses are strategic. Time allows emotion to settle and clarity to emerge. Clarity improves decisions. Decisions made calmly are harder to challenge. There's also a psychological toll on those waiting. Silence after their move forces them to reconsider. They replay the interaction, question tone, and doubt outcome. This self-doubt weakens confidence and reduces aggression. Delay is especially effective in negotiations. After an offer or demand, silence pressures the initiator to improve terms. The discomfort of waiting compels concession. This is not manipulation, it is human behavior. Those who wait extract value. However, delay must be intentional. Random or excessive delay appears evasive. Strategic delay is measured. It appears calm, not avoidant. The difference lies in demeanor. Calm delay communicates control. Avoidant delay communicates fear. The Machiavellian uses delay selectively. Not every situation benefits from waiting. Delay is applied when others seek reaction, validation, or resolution. It is withheld when decisive action strengthens position. Delay also reinforces frame control. When you do not rush to respond, you reject others' timelines. You operate on your own. This independence is interpreted as authority. Others align to your pace. At this level, silence is no longer absence, it is pressure. Delay creates space, and space forces movement from others. Movement reveals weakness. This chapter reinforces a core truth. Power does not hurry. Those who control reactions also control timing. Timing controls outcomes. Chapter 5. Reaction makes you predictable. Control makes you dangerous. Predictability is the currency of manipulation. The moment others can anticipate how you will react, they no longer need to confront you directly. They can steer you. Reaction creates patterns. Patterns create expectation. Expectation creates control. Most people believe consistency is a virtue in all contexts. In power dynamics, emotional consistency is a liability. If anger always follows disrespect, anger will be used. If defensiveness follows criticism, criticism becomes leverage. If excitement follows opportunity, opportunity becomes bait. The Machiavellian seeks the opposite, behavioral opacity, not randomness, but controlled unpredictability. When others cannot forecast your reactions, they hesitate. Hesitation disrupts strategy. Strategy delayed is strategy weakened. Reaction compresses options. When you react emotionally, your choices narrow to fight, explain, or retreat. All three are predictable. Control expands options. You can wait, redirect, ignore, or respond decisively. Uncertainty multiplies power. Danger, in a Machiavellian sense, is not volatility. It is restraint paired with capability. A restrained individual who can act but does not is far more threatening than one who reacts impulsively. Others sense that action, when it comes, will be deliberate and irreversible. This perception alters behavior. People speak carefully. They test less. They provoke less, not because they fear aggression, but because they fear consequence. Consequence is associated with controlled individuals, not reactive ones. Reaction also exposes internal hierarchy. When someone reacts to another, it implies the other has influence. Influence acknowledged is influence granted. Control reclaims hierarchy by refusing acknowledgement until it serves purpose. There is a quiet intimidation in controlled presence. Not fear-based intimidation, but uncertainty-based. Others do not know where they stand. They do not know what will trigger response or if anything will. This ambiguity creates caution. Control also allows selective engagement. You choose when to react and when not to. This selectivity reinforces authority. It signals that your attention is valuable and limited. Limited resources are respected. Unlimited ones are exploited. The Machiavellian does not eliminate emotion. They weaponize its absence. Calm becomes a shield. Silence becomes a threat. Reaction is reserved for moments when outcome is already secured. At this stage, others may misinterpret control as detachment. Let them. Misinterpretation protects advantage. Those who underestimate restraint expose themselves. This chapter completes the transformation. Reaction makes you readable. Control makes you dangerous. The dangerous individual does not announce intent. They move when necessary, and when they do, there is no confusion. Chapter 6. Authority belongs to the unmoved. At the highest level of control, authority no longer needs reinforcement. It is assumed. The unmoved individual does not assert dominance, explain decisions, or justify restraint. Their presence alone establishes hierarchy. This is the final Machiavellian position. Authority stabilizes when reactions disappear. Without emotional leakage, others receive no feedback to exploit. Attempts to provoke fall flat. Challenges lose energy. Over time, opposition stops testing. Not because they were defeated, but because engagement no longer yields return. The unmoved individual also becomes the axis around which others rotate. In chaotic environments, people seek stability. They look for cues. When one person remains steady regardless of pressure, attention gravitates toward them. Influence accumulates naturally. This authority is quiet but durable. Loud dominance fades. Emotional leadership burns out. Calm authority compounds. Each non-reaction reinforces reputation. Each delayed response strengthens expectation. Others begin to anticipate restraint and respect it. At this level, control is internalized. There is no effort in remaining calm. Emotion arises, is acknowledged internally and released without expression. This internal mastery creates external freedom. Nothing external can force movement. The Machiavellian understands that power is not about winning exchanges. It is about ending them. When you do not react, interactions terminate naturally. Without engagement, there is nothing to contest. This also protects energy. Reaction drains focus and creates mental noise. Control conserves energy for decisive moments. Authority requires endurance. Those who react constantly exhaust themselves and lose clarity. Unmoved authority also attracts alignment. People prefer leaders who are not swayed by pressure. Predictable calm becomes a form of safety. Safety creates loyalty. Loyalty strengthens position. Importantly, this does not mean moral detachment or emotional emptiness. It means discipline. Discipline over expression. Discipline over impulse. Discipline over ego. Ego reacts. Authority observes. By this stage, others may label you cold or distant. Labels are irrelevant. Outcomes are not. Authority is measured by influence, not approval. This chapter completes the Machiavellian law. Control reactions or surrender authority. Those who fail to master reaction remain reactive forever, chasing respect, defending ego, and losing ground. Those who master become immovable. When you are unmoved, you are ungovernable. And when you are ungovernable, authority follows.